Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a deep dive into something that could, well, maybe completely change the way we think about renewable energy. Perovskite solar cells.
Hmm.
You might be wondering, what are those? And trust me, I was right there with you.
Right.
But this live science article, Nanoparticle Breakthrough, could bring holy grail of solar power within reach, it claims they could be, like a total game changer.
Wow.
So let's break down why these perovskites have scientists so excited.
Okay, well, you're probably familiar with traditional solar panels, the ones that are made from silicon.
Right.
Perovskite cells, they offer a potential alternative that's, well, it's cheaper to produce and much more flexible. Imagine solar cells that can be printed, like, onto almost any surface.
Okay, so that's got my attention. Printed solar cells.
Yeah,
So we could be talking about like phones or even cars that charge themselves on the go.
that's exactly the kind of applications that researchers are aiming for, yeah. But to understand the excitement, we need to get down to the basics.
Huh.
Perovskites are essentially, they're lab-created versions of a naturally occurring mineral. It's called calcium titanium oxide.
Okay.
These synthetic crystals are just incredible at absorbing sunlight and then converting it into electricity.
So they're like tiny power plants, but instead of burning coal, they're using sunlight.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But if they're so great, why aren't they like everywhere already? There's got to be a catch.
You're right, there is.
Okay.
The biggest hurdle so far has been, well, their sensitivity to moisture.
Mhm.
When they're exposed to humidity, perovskites break down quickly because of a chemical reaction that causes them to leak iodine.
So durability is the issue.
Yeah.
It sounds like the breakthrough this article is talking about might be related to that.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Scientists at the University of Surrey, they've found a way to significantly boost the lifespan of these cells. They've managed to do this by embedding tiny aluminum oxide nanoparticles within the perovskite structure.
Oh.
These enhanced cells lasted almost 10 times longer under extreme conditions than standard perovskites. 1,530 hours compared to just 160.
10 times longer. That's huge. But how do these nanoparticles actually work to make the cells more stable?
Okay. Think of the nanoparticles as tiny traps that capture the iodine, preventing it from leaking out. This not only makes the cell more stable, it also improves the flow of electricity within the cell, making it more efficient overall.
Okay, so we've got cheaper, flexible solar cells that can now last much longer. This sounds like a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean for, like, the future of solar power?
To understand the significance, we need to zoom out and look at the big picture.
Okay.
Solar power is already the fastest growing and the cheapest source of renewable energy,
Hmm.
and it plays a vital role in our efforts to combat climate change.
Right. And I remember reading that the silicon used in, like, most solar panels is a finite resource.
Right.
So finding a viable alternative is crucial.
Exactly. Perovskites, especially with this new breakthrough, they have the potential to make clean energy even more accessible and affordable,
Right.
which is essential for transitioning to a more sustainable future.
Yeah. So perovskite solar cells, they sound pretty amazing, but you mentioned there's still work to be done before we see them, like, everywhere. What are some of the challenges that researchers are facing in getting this technology ready for, prime time?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is figuring out how to actually manufacture perovskite solar cells on a large scale.
Right.
Right now, most of the research is happening in the labs,
Okay.
and the processes they use to make these cells are pretty complex and expensive.
So it's one thing to create a high-performing perovskite cell in, like, a controlled lab setting,
Yeah.
but quite another to produce them by the millions in a factory.
Exactly. And as we scale up production, we need to make sure that these cells maintain their efficiency and stability over time.
Right.
It's a bit like baking a cake. You can perfect the recipe in your own kitchen, but making it work in a mass production bakery is a whole other story.
That's a great analogy. So what are some of the, like, specific hurdles scientists need to overcome when it comes to mass production?
One challenge is finding the right balance between, well, efficiency and stability.
Okay.
Perovskites have shown incredibly high efficiency in lab settings. Meaning they can convert a large percentage of sunlight into electricity.
Right.
But maintaining that efficiency as we move to larger scale production, that's tricky.
So it's a balancing act, pushing for the highest possible efficiency while also ensuring the cells are durable enough to last in, real-world conditions.
Precisely. Researchers are exploring different materials and manufacturing techniques to find that sweet spot. For example, they're experimenting with different types of perovskite materials,
Mm.
some of which are thought to be inherently more stable than others.
So it's about tweaking the recipe, so to speak, to find the perfect combination of ingredients for a high-performing and durable solar cell.
That's a great way to put it. And beyond the materials themselves, scientists are also investigating new manufacturing methods. Instead of the traditional spin coating techniques used in labs,
Right.
they're looking into printing techniques that could enable large-scale, low-cost production.
Wait, printing solar cells? That sounds like something out of like a sci-fi movie.
It might sound futuristic, but it's becoming a reality. Imagine being able to print solar cells directly onto flexible surfaces like fabrics or building materials.
Hmm.
This could open up a whole new world of possibilities for integrating solar power into our, everyday lives.
Okay, that's mind-blowing. We could have solar-powered tents, awnings, even entire buildings wrapped in energy-generating materials.
The potential applications are truly exciting. But even with these advancements in materials and manufacturing, ensuring long-term stability, well, that remains a critical challenge. We can't have our, solar-powered jackets suddenly stopping working after a few months.
That's a good point. So what are scientists doing to address the durability issue?
One approach is encapsulation,
Okay.
which involves sealing the perovskite layer within protective layers to shield it from moisture and other, environmental factors. It's like giving the perovskites a suit of armor to protect them from the elements.
That makes sense. Protect the delicate perovskite layer from the harsh realities of the outside world.
Exactly. And in addition to encapsulation, researchers are also developing more stable perovskite compositions that are, well, inherently less susceptible to degradation.
So it's a multi-pronged approach, better materials, improved manufacturing, and robust protection. It sounds like a complex puzzle, but it seems like the pieces are starting to fall into place.
They are, and the motivation to solve this puzzle is immense. A reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy source, it could truly transform our world.
Absolutely. It feels like we're getting closer to that vision with each new advancement in perovskite technology. Speaking of the future, what are some of the potential applications that you find most exciting?
Well, beyond the obvious applications in solar panels for homes and businesses, I'm particularly interested in the potential of perovskites in portable electronics. Imagine a world where your smartphone or laptop, charges itself continuously just by being exposed to ambient light.
No more scrambling for outlets or carrying bulky chargers. That would be a game changer for, so many people.
What about solar-powered cars? How realistic is that?
It's becoming more realistic with each breakthrough. Electric cars with perovskite solar panels integrated into their roofs or bodies could significantly extend their range, reducing our reliance on charging stations.
That would be a huge step towards a truly sustainable transportation system.
Exactly. And the applications go even further. Perovskites could revolutionize wearable technology, powering smartwatches, fitness trackers, and even, medical devices with clean, renewable energy.
This is incredible. But let's get back to reality for a moment. What are some of the challenges that need to be addressed before we see widespread adoption of perovskite technology?
One of the key hurdles is cost.
While perovskites are cheaper to produce than silicon, the overall cost of manufacturing perovskite solar cells, it still needs to come down to compete with traditional solar panels.
Right, affordability is crucial for mass adoption.
Hmm.
Are there any other, obstacles on the road to a perovskite-powered future?
Another challenge is scalability.
All right.
We've already talked about the difficulties of transitioning from lab-scale production to mass production.
Right.
It requires sophisticated manufacturing processes, stringent quality control, and a robust supply chain for, the necessary materials.
So it's one thing to make a small batch of high-performing perovskite cells, but quite another to churn them out on an industrial scale.
Precisely. It's a complex undertaking, but with the rapid pace of research and development, I'm confident that we'll see significant progress in addressing these challenges in the coming years.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the world of perovskite solar cells. It's amazing to see how science and innovation are driving us toward a more sustainable future.
It truly is an exciting time to be witnessing these advancements, and I believe that perovskites have the potential to revolutionize not just the energy sector, but countless other industries as well.
Okay, so we've covered the science, the breakthroughs, and the potential applications. But what does all of this mean for you, our listener? Why should you care about this technology?
That's a great question. The rise of perovskite technology, it signals a shift towards cleaner, more sustainable energy solutions. It's a reminder that the future of energy is evolving rapidly and we all have a role to play in, embracing these innovations.
Right. By staying informed and supporting the development of renewable technologies like perovskites, we can collectively contribute to a brighter, more sustainable future.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe one day soon you'll be charging your phone or even driving your car with the power of perovskite solar cells.
I can't wait. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I have one final thought-provoking question for you to consider. We've talked about all these amazing possibilities with perovskite solar cells, but what does this technology mean for the future of, renewable energy? Could perovskites really hold the key to a truly sustainable future?
It's a question a lot of people are asking, and for good reason. The potential of perovskites goes like way beyond simply replacing the solar panels we see today. Researchers are exploring some truly innovative applications, applications that could change the way we think about energy.
So what are some of these like more futuristic, almost sci-fi applications that are being explored?
One area that's really captivating is integrating perovskites directly into buildings.
Okay.
Imagine skyscrapers with entire facades made of perovskite solar cells. They could generate enough energy to power the whole building.
We were talking about buildings that are essentially like giant self-sustaining power plants.
Exactly. And it's not just limited to skyscrapers. Perovskates could be incorporated into windows, rooftops, even sidewalks. We could be looking at entire cities that generate their own energy.
Cities that power themselves. That does sound like something out of like a utopian novel.
Yeah.
What about applications beyond cities?
Well, perovskates could be a game changer for rural communities too.
Sure.
Imagine remote villages, especially in developing countries that have limited access to electricity. Off-grid perovskite solar systems could bring power to these areas, opening up opportunities that were never there before.
That's amazing. We could really bridge the energy gap and help improve the lives of people in those communities. It seems like perovskites have the potential to impact, almost every aspect of our lives. What about like beyond our planet?
That's another exciting area of exploration. Scientists are looking into using perovskites in space exploration to power satellites, rovers, and even habitats on other planets.
Wow. From powering cities to fueling space exploration, perovskites really do seem to hold like incredible potential. But it's important to remember that with any new technology, there are always things to consider as it becomes, more widely used.
You're absolutely right. As we move towards a future potentially powered by perovskites, we need to think about, well, the ethical and environmental implications. For example, we have to make sure that the manufacturing process is sustainable, and it doesn't create new environmental problems.
It's a good reminder that we need to be mindful of the bigger picture, even as we get excited about these incredible advancements. This deep dive into perovskite solar cells has been truly fascinating. It feels like we've only scratched the surface of what this technology could achieve. What can our listeners do if they want to learn more and, stay updated on the latest developments?
There are tons of resources available online. You can find articles in, scientific journals and industry publications that go into more detail about the research and advancements in perovskite technology.
And don't forget about the power of simply talking about these innovations with friends, family, and colleagues. The more we share this knowledge and spark curiosity, the more we can collectively contribute to a more sustainable future.
I completely agree. This is a conversation we all need to be having.
Well said. So to wrap up our deep dive today, it's clear that perovskite solar technology represents a huge leap forward in our quest for a sustainable future. The advancements we've discussed today are truly remarkable, and they offer a glimpse into a world powered by clean, efficient, and abundant energy. But the journey doesn't end here. It's up to all of us to stay informed, engaged, and supportive of the brilliant minds pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Who knows? Maybe one of you listening today will be the one to unlock the next breakthrough in perovskite technology, bringing us one step closer to a truly sustainable future. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.